Hello, fifth grade. Today, real quick, we're going to go over some latitude longitude practice. And we have two versions of that. If you can see on the document that I shared with you all, we have a top version here, which is kind of just a silly version with all these crazy pictures on this grid. But it does actually use latitude longitude coordinates in the way that they're supposed to be used. So it's good practice. And then down at the bottom, we have a multiple choice version of the real deal latitude longitude. So still not fully all the way real deal latitude longitude, but getting very close. You just happen to get four options. Okay, but we'll get to that. The first thing, as you can see here, we have this grid map, and I have all these images all over the grid. And you can notice over here in the chart that I have next door that whatever letter that is next to that image goes with whatever word or name of that image would be. So, for example, the tourist goes with the T, and the flying bird goes with the F, and all the way through the rest of this list. Okay. So we're going to jump over to another slide here that has this exact same grid so that I can show you all an example. Because what you're going to put in the box here is exactly that, coordinates for each image. Now I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't really care where on the image you put your latitude longitude. Could be the top, could be the bottom, could be the middle, could be the side. That part doesn't bother me. But as long as you're within the range of the correct north or south or east or west coordinate, and you put them in the correct and proper order, you should be pretty good. Okay, so let's jump over here to the same map, just full screen. Okay, what you have here then is you have the same grid. If you guys notice, this one's kind of good because it has the N next to all the north coordinates going this way, and it has the S's going to all the south coordinates going this way. The only tricky part is the longitude, which is the east and the west. They actually have them labeled on the equator line, which is pretty rare. But 20 east is this whole up and down, and 15 is this whole up and down, and all the way across the grid, as you guys can see, even on the west here, like 10 west is this whole line. Okay, we're going to do one together, and I want to do the Viking ship together because that's actually the first one that's over here. Okay, so again, we can imagine here, I'll go ahead and put just kind of a cross line here somewhere on the image. We need to land somewhere right here. We need to land somewhere within that Viking ship to get our answer. Okay, so what we'll do here is, as always, we're going to start at the equator to kind of determine where this is going to end up. Okay, so you start at 0, and clearly, are you going to go north or are you going to go south to get to this Viking ship? Clearly, you're going to go north. Okay. The good thing is over here that we have the numbers and the N letter next to it labeled. So you have 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. So to get our first number here, we would kind of follow with our eyes across here, and now we know that 15 north is going to be pretty much the best option. Okay, so let me erase some of this stuff out of the way here, including the X. So we know that our first number to go over here is 15 north. So that's going to start us off. So we know we went up to 15 to get to this boat, but 15 north is actually all the way across this line. So now we have to pinpoint where the boat is. So we went 5, 10, 15 north. And just like we've said before, with your eyes, you pretty much start over, and I'll use green this time. And now we have this prime meridian line. Okay, so now it's almost like you're starting over. You have the 15 in over on your line already. You follow with your eyes here, and unfortunately on this map, you have to kind of go down by the equator. Usually they're at the top of the page, but you can tell we're going to go west because this is the W quadrant. And we go from 0 prime meridian over to 5W to 10W. So we know we need about 5 west to make those two lines cross where we needed them to. Okay, so we had our 15 north, which is about here. We follow with our eyes and we have the 5 west over here. So that would be a coordinate that you write over on the line, or in this case, you're going to type it to get your coordinates. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead over and I'm going to actually do that. in the document itself. So right here, I'm going to put 15 in and comma 5W. Okay, so just like that for all of the rest of them, anywhere else in the image is going to be working for me as far as the answer. So even this flying bird here, which is the last one, could be the top of the wing, could be the bottom of the wing, could be kind of the imaginary lines behind it where they crisscross, and that can be your answer. Okay, so that's all the rest of these. Bottom part here, a little different. Okay, maybe a little more difficult for some, easier for others. But it says using a world map with latitude, longitude. So if you have any world map, latitude, longitude lines need to be on it, but that's going to be your best practice here. And I even put in parentheses, your planner, if you had your planner with you on page 122 and 123, has a pretty good map for this. But it says choose the correct answer for numbers 1 through 5. So here's what you do. This is more real deal now, guys and gals. So if I go back to this, and I look at a world map, for instance, you need to have the numbers like these and like these in order for this to work. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look at what the number one location is. So if it says it's such and such north and such east, you're going to actually look for that location. Okay, but I'll show you all real quick that when you do this, you have options. So it says 20 degrees south and 60 degrees west. So you would look over on your world map, and wherever those coordinates would land you, that is the continent in this case that you want. Later on, we're going to be doing specific countries. But for right now, it's just asking you the continent. And if you notice, some of these are oceans, or they have a possibility of an ocean. And I will tell you all, if you do it the right way, it'll be very obvious. If you're in the middle of an ocean and there cannot be any other answer, then you're probably right. If it's a continent, it should be dead in the middle of that continent. Okay, so you look on a map that has latitude and longitude, very similar to what we did up here. You start at the equator and you go N or S first on your actual map now. And reminder on east and west, you have to follow the curvature of the map. Okay. So again, for example, when you're doing east and west, don't go straight down from the number 90 like this. Don't go straight down because you could end up totally wrong. You follow the curvature of that line to where you need it to cross up with your north line or south line, whatever the case is. Okay. So once again, the entire assignment is to get a coordinate for each of these images, and then to go down and just pick the best option. I even put a box down here for the option, but A, B, C, or D for all 5 of these coordinates is going to be one definitive answer. Okay, so that should be good latitude, longitude practice before we start doing, the real technical, I guess, for some people version. And this is just kind of a good intro and a good continuation of our conversation. Okay, everybody stay safe out there and be well, and we'll talk to you very soon.